A very good morning, CEO, Board of Directors, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ishan, the CIO of Star Insurance. Recently, I've had the opportunity to attend a technology seminar on cloud computing, and from this seminar, I learned that cloud computing has great potential benefits to offer to our organization. And so, today I would like to take about 10 minutes of your time to share with you this very interesting concept. Now, before I begin, I would like to bring your attention to the executive handout which I have provided. This handout provides the details of financial analysis data included in this presentation for your reference. For today's agenda, I'll firstly be going through the objective of this presentation, followed by an introduction to cloud computing, which will cover the definition, the experiences of other companies, the various models of cloud, the advantages and disadvantages, the infrastructure required, and finally how cloud should be managed. After which, I will present to you the business model and sensitivity analysis for 3 different scenarios for your consideration, before coming to the conclusion and finally lessons learned from this research. I've also included a slide with a list of references used during this research. The objective of today's presentation is to share with you what cloud computing is about, to discuss the feasibility of implementing cloud computing in our insurance firm, so as to seek funding and authorization to implement and manage cloud computing in our company. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is a means to manage company computing resources online with virtual access to the information anytime and anyplace. Cloud can be utilized in many ways, of which storage of customer data, file sharing, and email are the more common means. The main risk associated with cloud computing is security breaches. Potential hackers may be tempted to infiltrate the system due to the large collection of sensitive data available, and this may result in leaks in confidential information. Another risk is privacy and service level agreement. Suitable agreements with service providers have to be in place before service commences. This is to safeguard against certain risks and also to ensure that the responsibilities of each party are clearly stipulated in the form of a service level agreement. Understanding these risks is the first step to mitigating them. Let me now share with you some of the experiences of other companies. Amazon.com was unable to predict their customers' shopping trends. This uncertain fluctuation in customer traffic required rapid adaptability of computational resources. And Amazon has utilized the cloud successfully with the pay-per-use concept, and it provided them the flexibility of scalability as and when required. Another organization, Monash University, has implemented the use of Google Apps for both students and staff. This rapid development and use of cloud has allowed students and staff to be technologically savvy and provided them the opportunity to discover innovative means to work and study, such that Monash is now continuing to look into other possible areas of Google Apps for expansion. Next, deployment models. There are 4 deployment models of cloud. Firstly, private cloud, whereby the services and infrastructure are maintained and managed by the company or a third party. It has high level of security and is suitable if data and applications are a primary part of our business and a high level of security is required. Community cloud. A few organizations with similar requirements or security considerations share access to a private cloud. Public cloud is where storage is managed by an external organization such as Google or Microsoft, with services stored off-site and accessed over the internet. The hybrid cloud uses a private cloud basis together with strategic use of public cloud services, and it takes advantage of both public and private cloud services. Hybrid models are complex and require careful planning to execute and manage, especially when communication between 2 different cloud deployments is necessary. The 3 service models of cloud are, firstly, software as a service. It utilizes the web to deliver applications. It is provided by a third party who supervises everything from applications, data servers, storage, and networking. SaaS makes it easy for enterprises to maintain their systems as most of the data is managed by the third-party vendor. Second, infrastructure as a service, where service providers supply computing infrastructure such as storage space, networking, and they are responsible for managing the infrastructure. However, clients have to manage the updates to newer versions as and when available. And lastly, platform as a service. This is basically a combination of SaaS and IaaS, where resources are offered via a platform. Clients are provided with development environment services for them to create and run their own developed applications, which allows for customization and provides more control over the technical areas. Cloud computing has its pros and cons. The benefits of cloud are reduced IT costs. Instead of having to purchase IT systems and equipment, these resources can now be provided by the cloud computing service provider, which may also cover the cost of system upgrades, new hardware and software. Cost savings can also come in the form of decreased downtime and data loss. Next, flexibility and accessibility. Cloud allows businesses the flexibility to quickly scale up or down depending on operation and storage requirements. It also allows employees more flexibility in their work practice as data and information can be accessed anytime and any place. Backup and recovery. With data being stored in the cloud, backing up and restoring data is much easier than before. This also leads to the next point of business continuity, which having data stored in the cloud ensures that it is protected in a secure and safe location. In the event of a natural disaster or power failure, businesses can still be conducted with minimal disruption, minimizing downtime and loss of productivity. While it is true that information and data on the cloud can be accessed anytime and any place, this technology, like all other technology, is also prone to power outages and other technical issues. Another disadvantage of the cloud is security issues. Because company-sensitive data will be handled by third-party cloud providers, extra care needs to be taken to ensure that only the most reliable provider is chosen. Next, standardization. No proper standards for cloud computing has yet been set. Thus, companies are unable to ascertain the quality of services provided as there is nothing to measure against. Based on the discussion so far, I would recommend for our company to consider adopting the cloud model and implement the transition to cloud incrementally. This will allow staff a period of transition to adapt to the change, and at the same time, it will allow the company to test the waters and see if cloud computing is a viable option. In view of the above, I would recommend that we consider the hybrid deployment model as it will allow us to achieve the best of both worlds. To transit over to the cloud model, we will need the following requirements. Firstly, employees will need to have the necessary skill set to use cloud so as to further minimize transition time required. Training would be a core requirement to ensure that the benefits of cloud is optimized. Secondly, cloud management solutions should not only leverage the latest hardware and software solutions, but they should also support a data center's existing diverse infrastructure. Thirdly, for the cloud to operate with minimal disruptions, the infrastructure needs to be reliable, available, and secure. These elements have always been important to end users and should not be compromised because of a switch to cloud computing. Next, proper integration with the data center management tools to allow cloud computing to coexist with current operation, administration, and maintenance systems. And finally, a suitable interface to allow users to easily interact with the cloud system. How should cloud be managed? Ensure that there's a viable integration plan to transit over to the cloud. New policies need to be generated, while old policies may need to be amended where required. Training should be provided to minimize employees' transition time required, and have on hand a team of in-house IT support staff to resolve any issues at the earliest time possible. Next, I shall present the business model over a 6-year period. Based on what we have discussed so far, I have shown here the cost and benefits analysis of implementing cloud computing. With the cash flow, cumulative net cash flow, and a discount rate of 10%, we can compute the payback period to be 2.75 with a net present value of 11.04 million, an internal rate of return of 30%, and a profitability index of 1.35. You can refer to the executive handout provided for more details on how these values are calculated. For the sensitivity analysis, we shall look at 3 scenarios. Case 1, where productivity is actually half of what we have presented, the payback period is calculated to be 3.13 with a net present value of 2.92 million, an internal rate of return of 60%, and a profitability index of 0.36. Case 2, where productivity is actually double and capital half of what we have presented in our business model, the payback period is calculated to be 2.16 with a net present value of 31.7 million and an internal rate of return of 72% and a profitability index of 5.56. Finally, let us look at case 3, where productivity and capital is half of what we had presented. The payback period is calculated to be 2.77 with a net present value of 7.32 million and an internal rate of return of 29% and a profitability index of 1.28. All 3 scenarios show positive data which indicate that cloud computing is the way ahead for Star Insurance. We will need to reinvent our business model and change needs to be implemented incrementally, taking note of the security concerns. Cloud computing, with its flexibility and cost-effective benefits, provides a competitive advantage in this day and age. However, in order to build a truly successful cloud, we will need to understand what features our cloud is to contain. From conducting this project, I have learned a few things. Basically, cloud computing greatly reduces IT costs, and security should not be overlooked. Employees enjoy the flexibility that cloud computing offers, and cloud computing has a large growth potential. However, a lack of standardization is slowing the growth of cloud computing. Implementing and managing cloud pose great challenges, such as cultural and operating model shift, and also quick scalability. This last slide shows a list of references that I have used for this presentation. Thank you.